Hey brew tubers, it's time for the taste test. Jake's video was up today, I believe. This should go up on Homebrew Wednesday. So happy Homebrew Wednesday to everybody. You'll have to excuse my voice. I'm a little bit hoarse. I just got through umpiring. I umpire high school baseball, first game of the season. So I'm a little tired, in need of a beer or two, and just worn out. In honor of Jake, I decided to go all out. Wore my North Carolina gear. That's right. I also have my Belmont University sweatpants on. So go Bruins. So anyway, here's what we got. Jake's, you probably can't see that, which is fine. But Jake's is going to be on my right. Mine will be on my left. Just for future reference, the Schlafly glass will be Jake's. The Sam Adams glass is mine. The same style glasses, different logos. So here we go. Let's get to it. I am actually going to, I'm going to pour Jake's first. I'm not going to go over the recipe. Jake did that plenty well in his video, and I'll link that below. I'm actually going to do what Jake didn't do, and that's fill it about halfway so that I can swirl it up a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and pour mine so they get to about the same temperature. And I poured those a little bit easy. The first thing I notice, and I'm not going to worry about the head. I can swirl up enough head on Jake's to get it to where it's around the same. The head color is about the same. I'm looking at them up in the light. They're pretty darn close. Mine might have like a slightly deeper red color, but not very much. I think mine has a little bit more of a slightly deeper red color. Jake's, I don't know, they're pretty I was going to say, I thought Jake's might be a little bit hazy, but they look pretty clear. I think maybe the clarity that I was picking up on, the issue that I was picking up on may just been color difference. It's a very, very slight color difference. His is slightly less, kind of a deep red, but it's almost unnoticeable. A little bit of a hop aroma, not a lot. I see where he was saying, I think in his video, he basically said he didn't really have much aroma. There's not a lot. I'm actually getting kind of a malt aroma from mine. Some of the caramel notes. Maybe the Munich that's in mine, the dark Munich that's in mine. Jake's to me seems to have more hop aroma to me. Mine seems to have more malt aroma with a little bit of like a malt backbone behind it. They both smell really good though, so I'm not going to complain. And now let's try it. Swirl it up, degas it a little, maybe get some of that aroma out. Yeah, there's a little more hop aroma from Jake's. Now, I almost wish I hadn't seen Jake's video because I'm getting, I see where, I know what mine tastes like. I've had a few of these. His is a much I'll drink mine for comparison before I say what the difference is. This one has a very smooth bitterness. There's not that sharpness that you get a lot of times with IPAs and 60-minute hop additions with certain hops. The C hops, for instance. Excuse me. They a lot of times will have a really sharp, kind of a bite, kind of a bitterness to them. This is really smooth bitterness all the way through. And it lingers the same all the way through to me. It's kind of level. But there's, even with that bitterness, that smoothness, the malt really, really retains the balance in the beer. This is a really, really good beer. And I'm going to be honest, Jake is much more of a hophead than I am. I am a pale ale guy. And actually, I've become kind of an amber, kind of a hoppy amber guy too. And this is really good. This is like to me is like the perfect kind of sessionably drinkable beer. Although it's not really a session beer, it's like 7% beer, but it's 7%. But it feels like you could drink a lot of them. It's fairly dry. I think he said his finished out maybe a point or two lower than mine, but not much. I mean, maybe literally a point or two, which is not going to be a ton. But it seems drier to me than mine. And I'm going to drink mine. Like I said, I'm getting much more of that Munich malt in mine, which I don't think he used Munich in his, or at least not the dark Munich for sure. And he didn't use the Victory malt. And I think Victory malt is a key element to this beer too. It adds a really nice backbone to the beer. Yeah, mine is slightly more bitter, and it's only slightly. But even, and I haven't had one of these in probably 4 or 5 days, and it's mellowed out even more since I've had it the last time. The bitterness is so much smoother than you normally would expect from a hoppy beer. I love late hop addition beers. I don't know that I'll ever do another beer that has a 60-minute addition other than maybe a high IBU, double IPA obviously, maybe a high IBU IPA, but I think I'm probably going to do a really high alpha acid hop that has like a low cohumulone level, which should be less of a sharp bitterness, and do like a really small charge of that at 60 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, to add that a little bit of extra bitterness to pump this type of a beer up to IPA level bitterness. The hoppiness of these beers, to me, it's not dramatically different. I don't know if Jake, there was clearly a difference. I think Jake determined that he thought there was clearly a difference. I'm not sure there's a gigantic difference. I think mine is slightly more bitter. I think the kind of bitterness is pretty much the same. I don't get the upfront bitterness that Jake was talking about. I think mine maybe has a bitterness all the way through, and that maybe just slightly stronger than his, but his is still bitter, from the front to the back. It's just a slightly, and I mean it's almost undetectable. And I agree. I think his beer is a little bit thinner than mine, and I don't know why that is. Mine seems to have a little bit more mouthfeel, a little bit more residual sweetness, but I think it works well with the bitterness that's in there. It's not overly sweet. It just has just enough bitterness to really complement the malt character that the beer has. Wow, these are really good beers. I honestly, and I told Jake that this would probably happen. I actually think that I like my beer. I like my beer. I just don't know that I can drink a lot of these in one sitting. I usually drink one of these, maybe one of these a night on average. Um, I could drink a couple of these of Jake's every night. And it's because I like the fact that it's a little bit drier, maybe slightly thinner. Um, the bitterness is maybe just a hair lower. It's just slightly less hoppy, but I mean it's so little that you can't tell the difference. I mean I can barely tell the difference, and it's because I'm drinking them side by side. If you were to hand me this beer and tell me that you pulled it off of my keg, I would think that it's the same beer. I can't detect a noticeable, a gigantically noticeable difference. It is very very slight, but it's such a good beer. Um, Such a good beer. You got his has, like I said, a slightly higher hop aroma, which I would expect, meaning since he cooled it quicker than I did. Um, Mine seems to have a little bit more of a malt aroma. Again, to me, that's I kind of expected that. Um, I'm not getting anything but this nice kind of toasty character, and I think that's from the chocolate malts. Mine might have slightly more like a toasty note, and I think it's the pale chocolate versus the regular chocolate malt that Jake used. Pale chocolate tends to add a really nice toasty character in a lot of beers. I use a little bit of pale chocolate in my pale ale, even in really small quantities, like maybe like 2 or 3 ounces, and it adds this kind of malty, toasty backbone to a beer that's fairly light colored and has nice hop character. All in all, this is a great beer, Jake. And I'm pretty sure you told me this won an award recently. I don't know if I'm letting the cat out of the bag on that. I apologize if I did, but I believe he told me it took third place in a competition recently, and I can see why. This is an absolutely wonderfully drinkable amber ale. Wow, this is really good. So try this stuff, guys. Find somebody that'll brew your beer. Brew the same beer as you, and then do something just to switch it up, to make it slightly different. Um, Whether it be, Whirlpool Whirlpool one of them hot for 15 minutes, and you know immediately chill the other one, or um, maybe do different hop additions. This would be. I actually would like to try the same beer with a slightly different hop package or hop bill. Centennial and Amarillo work really really well with this. I think you could get away with substituting Cascade if you had it and didn't have Amarillo. Definitely could substitute Cascade for the Centennial. I'd like to try it even with some Citra. I think that would be a really, really nice hop for this. But I like it. Great beer, Jake. I definitely, like I said, I like my beer. I do. I think I would drink a lot more of yours. I would definitely go through a keg of this faster than I'm going to go through a keg of this one. And just for future reference, the pale ale that I sent Jake, I sent him the Evil Twin, 2 Evil Twins, 1 of my pale ale. Both of those beers I entered in the first round of the NHC competition, the National Homebrewers Conference homebrew competition. So we'll see how those go. I'm hoping that they score well and they move on. At least one. I'd like to see that. I think the Evil Twin is good enough to move on. I don't know about the Pale Ale. It didn't score particularly well in the competition I sent it to. I hesitate to tell you. Well, I actually have the score sheet right here. Oddly enough, it's underneath some of this thing right here. Beer score sheet from the Bluff City Extravaganza tournament or competition, and I got horrible score. Well, not horrible scores. It scored a 29, which is not great. I don't know what's 29. Good. Yeah, one scored it at 28, one scored it at 30. The 30 was weird because he seemed to score it relatively positive in his notes, but the scores didn't come out. Didn't match like what he was talking about. So I don't know what the hell happened with that. And even on his intangibles, between wonderful and lifeless, he scored it one below wonderful. Yet it scored a 30. So I don't know. But the comment of the tournament for me, or the competition for me, was I'm not going to say the name of the judge, but she's an idiot, I think, because I had an actual BJCP certified judge this beer for me, and he has no idea what she's talking about. But in the aroma category of the score sheet, she put, and this is for the pale ale, not for the Evil Twin, just to clarify, grassy, musty, and in parentheses, feet-like smell. I shit you not. It says feet-like smell. Let me see if I can get up here and let you guys see this crap. I'm going to cover her name up. I don't know if you can actually see that or if it'll focus on it. Let me see. Let's see if I can. I don't know if you could see it. But right there in the parentheses, it says feet-like smell. So she thought she smelled feet in my beer. Now that beer is for me, it's a really nice beer. I really like it a lot. And it's dry hopped with Simcoe. So my only guess is that she doesn't particularly care for Simcoe as a dry hop. Because it will give you a musty, kind of a dank character if you dry hop with it. But anyway, screw that bitch. Anyway, back to the Evil Twins. Jake, I love the beer. You had a great idea. I think I'll send you a keg of this. You send me a keg of yours, and we'll call it even. Sound fair? Sounds good to me. Happy Homebrew Wednesday, guys. I don't know which one this is for me. I'm really, really tired. I need 2 beers for sure tonight. I'm going to finish Jake's first. Then I'm going to go to sleep. But, man, this is a really good beer. I really do like it. I need to do this more often. So hit me up if you guys have ideas about beers that you want to try. Ideas for stuff you think would be cool to try in general with other YouTubers, or I'm going to kind of hit you guys up for suggestions for the Homebrew Club, because I am the president now. It's official. So if you guys would if you give me some suggestions of things that we can do as a club, or if you want to swap some beer and do an experiment, with me or whatever, with a couple of YouTubers, let me know. I'm kind of down for anything at this point. Jake, great beer. I think you named this 11th Hour Red or something like that. I think it was 11th Hour Red Ale. I haven't really named it. I went with ET Red when I submitted it to the National Homebrewers Conference. So ET Red it is at the moment. But for me, I really like both of them. I think, like I said, I think I can drink a lot more of yours, which is probably bad because these are actually both like 7 or 7.1, something like that, alcohol. But I'm rambling now. So anyway, happy Homebrew Wednesday, guys. Jake, we got to do this again, dude. I'm going to drink your frozen toes and your broken toes. You wanted me to kind of taste them and see if there's any, give me a little evaluation on them. I absolutely will do that. And I definitely will get to drinking the Prima Pills and the Back in Black 21st Amendment Black IPA. Oh, that one's free. But anyway, again, happy Homebrew Wednesday. Peace. Good ass beer.